Being a number one pick is different. You get paid a lot more. The expectations are more. There's 120 Division I football programs. 120. Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Miami, Georgia, USC, Stanford, football players. And you're the number one pick. I want my number one pick to be as gifted as Peyton Manning and John Elway. And if he's not that good, I want him to be as big and strong as fast as Cam. Or I want him to have an arm like Matt Stafford. I want to watch him like Jared Goff. Like, that's what my number one should be. If he can't be everything like John Elway, who could run and throw, you got to give me something that's a wow. What with Baker Mayfield was a wow last night? I've never said he's not an NFL quarterback. I've never said he's a bust. Where's the wow? Okay, 11 for 20. Congratulations. My standard for the number one pick in the NFL draft is, hey, Colin, against guys who will work at supermarkets next week, he made a really nice throw in the back of the end zone. Folks, my problem isn't Baker Mayfield playing in the NFL. My problem is the Cleveland Browns passed on Sam Darnold and Bradley Chubb, the two best players in the league, an offensive star, a defensive star, and drafted Baker Mayfield in a tiny corner, talented but tiny at Ohio State. Hold your team to higher standards. Don't confuse standards with arrogance. They're standards. I've got a standard for this show. The Patriots have a standard for guys they pay. New England Patriots, they got standards. Don't memorize the playbook quickly. They let you go to the Titans. Well, Colin, what about that throw in the back of the end zone? For a number one quarterback pick, that is not an exceptional throw. It's called Tuesday. It's called Sunday. It's a throw. Okay, there's three things that jumped out to me with Baker Mayfield. He looks small. I don't want my number one quarterback to look small. I don't want my number one pick in the draft at any position to look small. Number two, he moved really well against second and third team defenders. Okay, those guys, Von Miller, Terrell Suggs, that containment is going to be way better. That's a nice first down run like there. That's not nice. And number three, he had a 3-and-out when he faced the Giants' first team defense. Those are my three takeaways. He looks small. I don't want my number one pick to look small regardless of position. He moved well against the second team. Containment will be way better in the regular season against starters. And number three, he had a 3-and-out against the Giants' first team defense. By the way, you want to know the really good play by Cleveland? It was Tyrod Taylor, 5 for 5 against first team defense. Had a pre-snap read. That was an NFL throw. Came to the line, pre-snap adjustment, makes a throw. There you go. Okay, Tyrod Taylor, that's an NFL play. But you got to have higher standards. Ask yourself this. A few years ago, back in like 6-7 years ago, Tristan Thompson was in a draft. In that draft that Tristan Thompson was in, Klay Thompson was in, Kemba Walker was in, Jimmy Butler was in, Kyrie Irving was in, Kawhi Leonard was in. If Tristan Thompson would have gone number one, would you be saying as a Cavs fan, well, he's become a pretty good starter? I mean, he had 9 rebounds last night. No, you'd say Kyrie Irving was available. Kawhi Leonard was available. Now, thankfully, that year, the Cavs got Kyrie. But if Tristan Thompson, who is not a number one pick, he's an NBA player, there have been nights he's a good NBA player, and there have been series that he's completely over his skis. But Cleveland went 4-0 last year in the preseason. Johnny Manziel had a really good preseason game. DeShone Kizer was 11 for 18 in his first preseason game. Come on, man, what's your standard? Cleveland went 4-0 in the preseason. The next 16 weeks, they went 0 for the season. What's your standard? He's a number one pick. I want you to be as good as Elway or Peyton Manning. And if you can't, I want you as big and strong as Cam. And I criticize Cam. You watch Cam Newton, size, body, running. There are moments with Cam, he is everything. Everything you want in a number one pick. Now, I don't like his inconsistency. Cam's all over the map. And I think he has to grow up. And I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get grown up Cam. I saw something yesterday I don't love. But you watch Cam and you're like, oh, hell yeah, that's a number one pick. Matt Stafford drives me crazy. I watch Matt Stafford make throws, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a number one quarterback pick. I'm not saying you have to be the best quarterback in the league, but Matt Stafford makes wow throws. Cam makes wow throws. There's no wow there. That's stuff. Best throw of the night was by Tyrod Taylor. That's just stuff. Gotta have higher standards. Colin, he looked Deshaun Kaiser last year, preseason, week 1, 11 for 18, touchdown, 114 passer rating. Was I jumping for joy with that one? Was I? So why should I with this one? This one's a number one pick in the draft. My standards and expectations are even higher. Let me shift to this. Andrew Luck looked really good. Yeah, he looked like he always looks when he's healthy. Really, really good. Last night, 12-play drive, 9-play drive. You do realize Andrew Luck is hoping to be Aerosmith. Aerosmith did this. Aerosmith came out and you're like, wow, in the 70s. That is unbelievable talent. That is all-time stuff. And then Aerosmith got into drugs and had problems and had a bad album and they were a mess. And you're like, ooh. And then Aerosmith came back, cleaned up, got healthy. Somebody else wrote some songs, Run DMC, and you're like, oh, hell yeah, Aerosmith is good. Yeah, never forget how good Aerosmith was once they were healthy. That's Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck has already had 2 careers. Let's make sure we delineate between the 2. His first career was 3 consecutive 11-5 seasons, 3 consecutive playoff appearances, the AFC Championship game, Pro Bowl every year, and 86 touchdown passes that led the NFL with 40 in 2014. That was his first career. His second career was a lacerated kidney, major shoulder injury, and getting the living you-know-what kicked out of him because his general manager left him with no players. He is hoping to do an Aerosmith. Remember me when I was healthy? This is now embarking on his third career. He came into the league and was a monster with the worst offensive line in the league and arguably the least talented running backs. And he was 11-5, 11-5, 11-5, 3 playoffs. 2014 led the NFL with 40 touchdowns. AFC Championship game. Tom Brady could not have taken that offensive line to the AFC Championship game. Could not have. Joe Montana couldn't do it. Peyton Manning couldn't do it. 11-5, 11-5, 11-5. He was Aerosmith in the 70s. Wow. Oh, my God. All-time stuff. And then Aerosmith got into some bad stuff. Didn't have good health and disappeared. And Andrew Luck, for the last couple of years, has disappeared. Not his own doing. I mean, he can take some of the blame. Held on to the ball too long, tried to extend plays, ran around too much. He can take some of the blame. That's fair. I mean, Aerosmith deserves some of the blame, right? But Aerosmith bounced back and were as great as they'd ever been when they bounced back. We are looking at the recovery stage for Andrew Luck. And do not forget how absolutely awesome he was. He was on his way to being all-time stuff. Hopefully, like Aerosmith, he can do it again. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.